So today's time.
Take a deep breath, first of all. They say neshama and neshima have the same shoresh.
Right. That's
right?
Great.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's really
it's
good.
A breath.
Wow.
You take a breath, you
wow.
kind of connect.
Wow.
Center yourself.
That's great.
Get into it.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to teach the millions of
Tell
people that
all the
watch
people.
the video.
Right, yeah.
So, Moshe
Everyone
Shweki said,
take a deep breath.
yeah. And you can, we'll try to put a link to his art, which is amazing.
BarYochaiStudio.com.
BarYochai Studio.
BarYochaiStudio.com.
There we go. And you can see this image, just a little taste. And so the story is Hazai that, wow, it's very powerful. Moshe just taught me something amazing, which is that neshama, our soul, and neshima, breath, are interconnected. And in fact, it's interesting, we have a word called noishem, to breathe. And I don't know if this is true, but it says, Al kol neshima uneshima, on every breath you take, you should thank Hashem. So I have a feeling it refers to breathing through the nose. It's a very powerful exercise. Just breathe through your nose, and then say thank you to Hashem for creating, because every moment Hashem creates everything. So say thank you to Hashem for creating everything. So we'll do that now. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. And it's really amazing because what it does, like you said, is it restores your soul. Because without taking a breath, without being in anxiety, we're not ourselves. It's just we're our fear. But if we can take those breaths, and that's the whole idea of davening, really, to restore our soul, and we're operating from that space. Okay, so today's Tanya is so it's the 20th of Iyar, and yesterday's Tanya was the idea that it was a whole build-up of many chapters. Like Hashem, we love is reciprocal. So if I love you, you love me back, and vice versa. So then what happened is that he says how much Hashem loves us. He came down into Egypt, and he's so great, and therefore we should love him even more than anything else. And then that translates into the study of Torah, because if you love somebody, you do what they want. The word hav, give, ahava is love, and hav is in that word, so giving. And then basically it boils down to the study of Torah and the practice of mitzvahs, because that way we bring Hashem into our world. Now, today's sign of the Alter Rebbe says something really amazing, because in a way what he's doing is he's giving us different meditations for love, and each meditation is higher than the previous meditation. So it's like a series of meditations, and each one creates a higher love than was before. And so he said these previous loves, they are the level of silver, and that's the right side, the side of chesed. However, this meditation that he's going to say is the level of gold, and that's the side of gvura. So it's very interesting, because a person would normally say that chesed, right, kindness, is the highest thing that a person can do. But in a certain sense, gvura de kedusha, holy gvura, holy discipline, is an even greater kindness. Why? Because if I just love people, it's kind of the style of Avraham Avinu, what can end up happening is that I'm too loving, right? We see this very clearly in the West, or any culture that becomes very prosperous. We become very loving, very open. We become so open that we allow disease to come in. Let's say a person just loves food. Then eventually they can get sick because of that love. So a person also has to have, and in a certain sense it's even higher than love, which is gevura. And gevura is a sense of discernment. And we find that women, it says bina yasera nitna v'isha, women have more bina. Somebody was telling me the other day, women are more discerning. They call it a sixth sense. And when we look at, for example, Avraham and Sarah, we see Avraham was so loving. He was like, Hashem says, listen, I'm going to give you another son. He's like, if only Ishmael will be righteous before you. And eventually Sarah is the one that sees this guy is a murderer, and he's a thief, and he wants to kill Yitzchak. She says, get him out of the house. Now, if he didn't listen to Sarah, there may not have been a Jewish people. So Sarah's discernment, and we see the same thing with Rivka, that Yitzchak loved his son Esav, and he was willing to give Esav the bracha. Again, there wouldn't have been a Jewish people. And it was Rivka that sees her child too, but she sees this one is good and this one is bad. And so women, and we all have to have this quality, which is not enough to love in life, you also have to think in life. And of course, that's the most important thing, the combination of a really, really good head with a really, really good heart. If we have that, we have everything. But if we have one without the other, it's like they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So this kind of discernment, this bina, there's a type of love that helps us reach this level. And this is when we think about this concept, it's called Kule Kamei Kulei Mamish Chashibi. Kulo Kamei Kulo Mamish Chashibi, that is Aramaic for everything that exists, all of heaven, all of earth, literally is like nothing to Hashem. So, you were showing me today AI images. Moshe was chosen to be an early adopter of AI from Adobe. So it's really amazing because suddenly you're able to generate the most amazing, like you could generate universes, right? Beautiful, amazing, amazing images. So what does this show us? It shows us, I just want to show people the image. This is just an image, that's not totally AI.
That's not AI, that's my work.
Yeah, that's not AI. But even so, you're using some digital, mechanisms, etc.
That's Photoshop, but it's all done by my own avoda.
Okay.
No computer had what to do with the manipulation of that image.
Yeah, I see.
As far as creative processes go.
Okay, so that's the real deal.
That's the real deal.
Beautiful stuff.
Thanks. BarYochaiStudio.com.
Yeah, go by.
BARYOCHAI.
Early adopter.
DIO.com. Early adopter of AI, which is something else, but
right, separate issue. But the idea is that suddenly you can imagine how, because we're so stuck in our world that we say, oh, this is reality. And we say, wow, what is all of science? It's like discovering the amazingness of our reality, how far the universe goes, how intricate it is, like amazing, amazing, amazing. But we're still within the notion that our reality has to exist. But the truth is, just like in AI, you can generate like a universe. And I imagine one day you're going to actually be able to tell it, make me a movie about two kids, and it'll just make the most amazing movie in the world, right? So Hashem is exactly like that. And where do we see this? We see this in dreams, because we have the most sophisticated dreams, and a dream is an entire universe and has all these details and everything, and it's so real. And Hashem is generating a dream for you for a certain experience. We spoke about that another time. It's kind of therapy, hopefully, or it could be a revelation teaching you something. But the point is that this whole universe is just God generating. It's like I made a video game. I say, okay, I want my players to have this kind of game, this kind of graphics, this kind of experience, and that's it. I just make it. So from that perspective, our universe doesn't have to exist. In fact, as we learned, and as we'll continue to learn, Hashem is reprogramming the game every single second. Just like your screen needs your computer. Without a computer, the screen literally disappears. What happens if you detach the screen from the computer? It's as if it never existed. Every single image, everything that you ever saw on the screen will disappear. So if Hashem, God forbid, was not choosing to create everything this very moment, nothing would exist. And what that shows us is that everything compared to Hashem is literally nothing. It's all zero. It's not even a one. The whole universe, the universe is above us, and our universe compared to the universe above us is a dot. And the universe above that is just a dot compared to the universe above. We can't even imagine the vastness. It says an angel is like a third of the size of our universe. Now imagine something the third of the size of our universe. So we are these the whole thing is like an insignificant speck. So once you can understand the true greatness of Hashem, that he now with the ability to generate information, we can understand something that can just infinitely generate, and it's by choice. It doesn't have to generate. So he just decided this is one version of reality. He decided to generate this version. So we realize the true greatness of Hashem, and then the heart has this kind of longing for Hashem, great love and an awe for Hashem, and it can reach a point that the heart is ready to expire, God forbid. It's ready to literally, their soul's gonna expire. But then they realize that, listen, the only thing, why did Hashem make it? What does He want? He wants me to be a good Jew in this world. And when I realize that, I go back to my mission. The Alter Rebbe had this kind of, if you want to call it soul. He would go very, very ecstatic. Wherever he would daven, they would literally patted the walls. He would be kind of banging the walls. And when he would say a mimer, which is what we call Divrei Elikim Chaim, when the Rebbe once said a mimer, he was hooked up to EKG because he had a heart attack. And as he said the mimer, kind of went flat. And the doctors ran out to see what was happening and was still, thank God, alive. And so we call it the words, it's like the Shekhinah is speaking to him. So when he would say a mimer, he would be somersaulting. It was like in another he was so ecstatic. But then he would always come back down into the mission. This is a very, very important lesson for spiritual people, is that every up has to translate into action. And, we have inspiration, but it has to get back into perspiration. It has to come back down.
This is Ratzu V'Shuv.
Yeah, this is Ratzu V'Shuv. So basically we're going to go into more of this kind of meditation, but where we realize that everything, Hashem's infinity precludes that everything that exists is like zero, right? Compared to infinity, even 100 trillion is like zero. It has no relationship whatsoever. And so Hashem is that infinite, and relatively we're all nothing, and that creates this love, and then we can want to go into Him because we want to go into the something. We remember, no, Hashem has a mission for me. I have to come back down. The Rebbe used to listen to my grandfather's radio shows, and he once said that he could have Koloisa Nefesh, his soul could expire to Hashem listening. I don't know why it was so great to him. My grandfather was very passionate, maybe. And then, but he said, but what can you do? Hashem wants us to be in this world.